Just for the record, state your name, Sergeant.
Sergeant First Class Jonathan Wisener.
Okay, and where are you from?
I'm from here in Portsmouth.
You're a Portsmouth person.
Yes,
Okay.
I've been pretty much raised here all my life.
What are your parents' names?
James and Virginia Wisener.
Okay. And are they from here too?
Yes, my mother's Filipino and my father's American. He's
Okay.
we've lived here since.
Did he meet her while he was in the service?
Vietnam?
Okay. And are you married, single, divorced, widowed, separated, or all the above?
Married, 3 children from a previous marriage.
Okay, good. And your wife, of course, is she from Portsmouth?
Yes, well, she's been raised here too. She's from Kentucky.
Okay, okay. Well, and then what's her name?
Dawn Ann.
And what are your children's names?
My children's names are Aaron, which is the oldest, he's 13. Brett is 10, and Sydney, she is 8.
What did they voice about you going to Iraq?
They really didn't have an opinion. I mean, at the time they were just worried and knew that I was going someplace that's pretty dangerous, and they just wanted me to come home. That's all.
How did you keep in contact with them?
Phone. I just
A lot of phone calls.
A lot of phone calls.
I'd hate to see that phone bill.
A lot of phone calls.
Did anybody pick up the phone bill, like AT&T or the Army or anything?
No, actually AT&T was really high.
Okay.
So, but we did have a phone service over there,
You did.
which was 2 other major carriers, and they did pretty well. They did. Some people had satellite phones, which you weren't supposed to have, but they had them.
Okay, well, we won't tell that, and we won't let anybody else know. Do you remember me interviewing you the last time?
Yeah.
Now, what were your thoughts then? I remember what you said then, and as compared to now. Have you changed a lot about anything? I mean, the reality of it, did it match what you expected, or not, or what?
The reality, the way it was geared, my section, I'm the platoon sergeant of the heavy equipment section, the vertical section, or excuse me, the horizontal section. And from when we first went over there, we geared up for a small part. All right, and we thought the other platoons were going to play the major role, and it ended up being my section playing the major role in what was going on over there, fortifying bases, building berms, and constructing just a lot of construction work. It was overwhelming at first, but we kicked it into gear.
What would have been a small role then? What would you have done?
We figured that we were going to do just some, just be base maintenance, like improve the roads around the bases, or fortify some positions on the bases or something like that. But we were actually a major push for all the bases in our area, in the First ID's area, and we did a lot of fortification on all the bases in First ID's areas.
First ID is First Infantry
First
Division?
Infantry Division, yeah, that's who we were attached to them as division engineers.
Okay. After you left here, left Portsmouth, where did you go? Atterbury or
We went to Atterbury, Indiana.
How long were you there?
We were in Atterbury approximately 35 days, maybe, I think, something like that.
Okay.
And then to Kuwait. And we stayed in Kuwait for probably almost 30 days.
At Atterbury, you had, I guess, preparation training. Is that what you would call it?
Correct.
That
Right.
sort of thing. Did that really prepare you? Was it good training?
It was good training. It was good training, but the training that they offered was something that you had to do repetitiously to get it right. And the way it was thrown at us, and just having to do it maybe once or twice, we caught on to it quick once we got over there, though.
Okay.
I mean, things changed on the move, as you know that. I mean, you have to adapt.
Nothing like on-the-job training.
Yeah, exactly.
My son a few years back, and he said the thing that struck about 2 things is the incredible heat.
Yeah.
And number 2, he said, he called me one day and he said, "Dad, there's nothing here. There is nothing here. No trees, no plants, there is nothing here." Is that the way you found it then?
Basically, unless you're along the coastline, anything else is just sand and dirt.
Huh.
It's just that's all it is.
So did you acclimate to the climate okay? I mean, how do you do that, 120, 40 degrees?
You have to drink a lot of water. You have to stay hydrated.
Okay.
You have to stay very hydrated. I mean, it took a little getting used to, probably the first couple of weeks. But after that, everything was all right.
Do you have to stay covered?
Yes, most of the time. Like we have sleeves up right now. We were sleeves down and headgear, which was the boonie hats, or when we had to wear Kevlar. It's usually cover your head. And they passed out a lot of suntan lotion.
Okay. Sunblock and that kind of
Sunblock,
stuff?
excuse me.
Okay.
Sunblock.
And how long were you in Kuwait?
Almost 30 days, about 28 days.
Did that count towards your time?
Yeah.
I understand that Atterbury did not count toward the
No,
time.
Atterbury did not count towards the time.
Did Kuwait?
Once we hit boots on the ground in Kuwait, that starts your 1 year.
Okay. What was the purpose of that? Also training, acclimation?
Training, acclimation, preparation time. We had to wait for all of our equipment to make it in off the ships. Once they got in, then we had to move them from port to our base of operations. And once I got to the base, we had to up armor all our vehicles. And
Up armor means additional armor?
additional armor. Well, most of the vehicles had no armor at all. Well, all the vehicles had no armor at all. So we did what we called a hillbilly armor.
Well, okay,
Yeah, we
now that
just
requires explanation.
Just a 1/4-inch steel, 1/8-inch steel plates, and we cut them to size and welded them where we thought we'd need them.
Where did you find the steel?
It was a lot of it was brought to us. Some of it come from units that were getting ready to leave the steel off of their equipment. So it was hard to get, a little hard to get, but we got by.
Did that stop anything? I imagine a little bit is better than nothing, but
It might ricochet a little bullet, but as far as stopping anything that was large, no, it wasn't.
did you eventually up armor more?
Well, our Humvees and 5 tons got up armored more, but that was towards the end of our tour.
Okay.
I mean, we were almost done by the time we received those up armored kits.
Okay, now, how often were you in touch with your family? Every day, every week?
I tried to stay in touch every day. I tried to.
Okay.
Sometimes I couldn't, but I tried to.
Now, does your wife work? Did she?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she works at the Southern Ohio Medical Center
Oh, does she?
on the Mercy campus.
Now, so you're at, what camp was it in Kuwait that you were at?
We flew into Wolverine, and we bused to Camp Virginia.
All right. And then you're there for 30 days or something of that nature around, and then...
Right, this Camp Virginia was designed for, I think it was designed for 4,000 troops maybe to hold. And at one point we had 10,000 soldiers there.
You call it crowded?
Yeah, it was very crowded. And you had 2-hour, 3-hour lines for chow.
How long were the lines for the trains, for God's sake?
They weren't that bad.
Okay.
The PX, I waited 4 hours in the PX line once.
Really? Well, I hope you got what you wanted. Okay, now you're heading. Now you push off and you go into Iraq, and what's that like? The anticipation and all that.
Yeah, we did our part of our training there in Kuwait was gosh, I can't even think of the name of it now. Convoy operations, where we would actually move in a convoy with weapons and live fire ammunition and shooting the targets, this, that, and the other. And that first night, Bravo Company and headquarters were the first two to push.
That's this company, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's this company, and we drove, I believe it was 700 miles north, the longest recorded convoy ever made by anybody.
Really?
Yes, it is.
700 miles would take you up where? To Baghdad almost? or-
No, we were north of Baghdad, actually.
Okay.
We were north of Baghdad, 700 or 800 miles. We were at Tikrit. We rode it all the way up to Tikrit, so it was a good distance.
Wow. So once you got started, you didn't stop.
Now it took us 3 days to get there. We went from Camp Virginia to FOB Navstar, which is right on the Kuwait-Iraq border. We stayed the night there. moved into Iraq the next morning, or the next morning, and went to, I believe it's Firebase Scania, and from Scania to another fire base north of Baghdad, and then just rolled all the way up the next day.
So you were the point, and then did the other companies, how far were they behind you?
They followed I think it was 8 to 12 hours behind us.
Okay. So what was your job then? To go up there, secure the area for a while, and
well, we just to road march up there and be safe was our primary job. I mean, once we got to Tikrit, they already had the fire base established, Camp Spiker, and it was a huge base. It was one of the hugest bases there.
Okay.
And we moved right into a housing area that was a I think it was a Iraqi housing area that they had. So we actually lived in some houses that were on the base.
Okay. What was that trip up like? What was it? Was it?
It was nerve-wracking.
Was it?
Very nerve-wracking. I remember the second day, after we crossed the border, we were moving to a highway, which we had to take a right-hand turn onto, and the lead vehicle had missed it. So we decided just to keep on moving, because the convoy was 70, 80 vehicles long. And we kept on moving to the next turn, and the next turn took us through a large southern town, and it was straight out of that movie Black Hawk Down, when you're going through town.
Really?
Your Humvees, and the buildings are high, and you can hear the echoes of the Muslims praying. And oh man, you're just watching the windows, and you're watching the rooftops, and you're seeing the people in the streets, and seeing people scatter, and it wasn't a good feeling.
Did anything happen?
No, nothing happened.
Thank heavens for that.
Yeah.
Well, what about that lead vehicle? I can picture this lead vehicle being out there all by himself.
No, he was. The convoy was right. It stayed together pretty well.
Okay.
But the colonel was with us, and he was further back, and he just told me, "Hey, let's go on, and we'll make the best of it. It's not going to be too bad." So.
Okay. So you went through the village, the town, and came out the other side and proceeded. And were there any incidents at all going up there, or?
No, really nothing on the trip up. No,
good.
Nothing at all on the trip up. We had the guys after us. I guess they run into an incident where they.
Who was that?
I can't remember exactly who it was.
Was it out of this unit, or?
Yes, it was out of this unit.
Okay.
They actually fired the 50 cal and destroyed a building, and a 50 and a Mark 19 opened up on a garage, I believe, and just leveled this building because they got fire from it. So.
Well, you finally get there. Then what happens?
We move into our housing area. We get our kind of our little areas established.
Did you have air conditioning?
Not at the time. It was kind of it was coming.
All right.
You know, I mean, and especially with my guys. Once we got there, we just tried to get everything in order, figure out a plan of attack. We knew, as Bravo Company, as my platoon, first platoon, we were going to move out immediately to another base because they were asking for help bad. So we were only there. We were there for 3 days. 3 days, and we were shipped out to another base.
So you were at Tikrit for 3 days?
Yeah, we were in FOB Spiker for 3 days.
Did you have the opportunity to, I can't think of a way, go into town, I guess is the way to put it, or?
No.
Nothing like that. You were at the base, and then 3 days later, where did you go then?
FOB Caldwell. It was northeast of Baghdad, probably 60, 70 miles maybe. Northeast of Baghdad, close to the Iranian border. It's only maybe 10 miles from the Iranian border.
That's interesting. I mean, what kind of help did they need up there?
Well, what they were doing is part of the base was American coalition troops, and the other half of the base was Iraqi. starting to make the new Iraqi army. So they actually had a training post on that base with us, and we were charged to fortify and build up their base there. So that's what we did. We spent probably the better half of 3 months there.
Was that still in the 1st Infantry Division's domain?
First Infantry Division was responsible for, I believe it was 27 or 29 bases in northern Iraq. And my platoon went to, I think it was 22 or 23 bases.
Wow.
We'd been on 22 or 23 bases by the time we left.
Wow. Okay. So you're there at Caldwell for 3 months, fortifying the place, and
right.
Okay. Anything happened there?
No, actually, that was the only base in First ID territory that nothing ever happened. I don't know whether it was because there was the Iraqi troops were on that base or what. But
how'd you get along with them? Did you have inter contact with them?
Very little. Not that much at all.
Okay.
I mean, we spoke with a few of them. Some of them seemed to be pretty decent, but more or less they kept to themselves, and we kept to ourselves.
So after that, then where do you go?
Well, the way it worked out, my platoon we had split up really. I mean, we just I had 36 soldiers, and we 10 here, 12 there, 5 here. I mean, just wherever they need us and what piece of equipment that they needed at the time. So we were, oh gosh, like I said, 22 or 23 to different bases.
Wow.
I wish I could name them all.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all over the place.
Well, while you were there, then, did anything ever happen of interest that
Yeah,
something you can tell your grandkids?
Several times. I mean, now the one time, just one time we were, which was really not a good idea, but they were right after the major push to take what's the name of that town, Fallujah. We had the First ID had come up with a plan to take over, to go in and calm down Samara. Samara was another hot spot too, which wasn't that far away from us, and we were involved in the major push to take Samara. What we did was we had 2 D9 dozers, the great big ones. They were armored already, pre-armored, come from the factory, and they would push out the blockades for the tanks and the Bradleys to roll through.
The street blockades
Yeah,
and things
street
like that?
blockades. Once we got into town, we actually took over a building, and the infantry and the armored was all there and was setting up. And my other dozers they pushed up berms and set concrete T-walls, and so they couldn't fire in at us. Some kind of protection for this building. While we were there, we received fire every day. It just seems like every day. There was one particular instance where we were making SIABs. It's a abbreviation, PSIAB, Police Stations in a Box. That's what they call it.
Police station in a box.
They were for the Iraqi police officers that were in Samara. Okay, we had made, I don't know, it was 6 or 7, it's like railroad car boxes. And they had actually, put walls in them and cut a hole for an air conditioner just so they can use them for portable stations around the city as traffic points, traffic control points. And we'd go in and put these boxes in. Then we'd put these 12-foot T-walls around them so they couldn't be shot at and stuff like that. And one day we had 2 cranes up, and we're setting these T-walls. And I'm kind of standing off to the side watching what we're doing, and crack, 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 crack. What the heck is? I'm looking around, and then it goes through your head. That isn't an M16. That's an AK-47, and because it's got a very, very distinct sound. And then the next thing I know, I see people ducking and diving, and all hell broke loose. And there was just a barrage of bullets at this building. We received fire from 3 different directions, and me and one of my soldiers moved up behind a barricade to lay some suppressive fire down. And once I got to the barricade, I took a couple of shots, and the soldier was with me. And I looked at this barricade, and we have these 4-foot what do they call it? They were HESCO baskets. But what they did was you just filled them with dirt and formed an instant barricade around whatever you had. Now the baskets were up, but they had no dirt in them. Oh. And I was standing behind it. I said, "Ooh, this is not a good idea." So we had backed up behind one of the Jersey barriers, which is the concrete 4x4 barriers that they have on the ground. Mm-hmm. And
they came at you from 3 different directions.
Right. We fired down the road in front of us off an alley, and the majority of the fire came from a garage, which everybody else really lit this garage up. Mm-hmm. But they never did catch anybody.
So you didn't find any bodies either afterwards?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
A lot of shell casings, but no weapons, no bodies. They got in there, shoot, and left. Mm. You know, I mean, they'd be just like anybody else. You know, they hide their weapon and they walk down the street like, yeah, it wasn't me. I mean, you couldn't tell them apart.
Did you ever have any contact with the Iraqis in any long period of time? I mean, talk to them, get in, immersed with their unit and things like that?
Up north, we were at a FOB Kalsu, and this particular base was above the northern no-fly zone, which was established during the First War, and the area up there was very prosperous. They were Kurdish, actually, and these Kurdish Iraqis, they were great. I mean, I talked to a lot of them. They invited us to dinner. We interacted with them. They were some good people. They did not like they had no love lost for the Sunni or the Shiite at all. Mm-hmm. These Kurdish did not like them at all.
Well, overall then, how do you portray what did it mean to you, all that experience being over there?
On a personal level, yeah. I think it was a growing experience for me. I don't think I'll ever be the same. There's a lot of things that happened over there that it just changed it. Mm-hmm. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It was a growing experience.
Mm-hmm. Just a lot of things that it'll just change you. You just learn and move on. Mm. I don't think I'll ever be the same from it, but I've learned a lot from it. I've learned what's important.
Mm. Any after effects? Have any dreams and stuff like that?
Not really, no. Yeah. No, I try to. It doesn't. I watch it on TV. Sometimes I can't watch it. Mm-hmm. And there's other times where I just can't believe that they're still there. Mm-hmm. And it bothers me. Mm-hmm. It does. All those guys losing their lives for, I mean, what is a good cause, but I mean, there's got to be some other way to accomplish it.
We're up to 1,700 now, about.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of good people.
Mm. You're glad you're back, obviously.
Oh God, very glad.
Do you want to go back to Iraq?
No, I don't.
Are you staying in the Guard?
I've got 1 year and 2 days left to retire.
Oh, you're going to stay then until that's, yeah, okay.
Part of my retirement, I planned on doing 25 or 30 years. Uh-huh. But with this possible recall back there, I'm not going to go back.
How'd your unit do? How'd the 216th do?
We performed very well. I think Bravo Company performed the best in the battalion. Mm-hmm. But actually the first ID put us in for a Meritorious Unit Award.
Really?
Right. And I believe we received those as an individuals, so we can wear it on our uniform.
You got a ribbon out of that.
Right.
Okay. What other ribbons did you get for being over there?
I can't even think of which ones we. There were 2 or 3 more ribbons that we received from here.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't think of what the names of them are.
Okay. The battalion lost 3 guys,
Yes.
didn't they? We did okay. I mean, but Company B did okay. Was anybody wounded in this company?
Yeah, we had. 2 of my soldiers had received Purple Hearts.
Really?
For an IED.
Mm-hmm.
There was a.
Did that ever happen to you? One of them go off?
Yeah, it's happened in our convoy, but never on my vehicle particularly.
That would be a heck.
And it was right on their vehicle. They were very lucky.
On
They
your,
had
these guys,
Yeah.
in your platoon?
Yeah, the 2 guys in my platoon.
Okay.
They had shrapnel actually go through the doors, into the engine block, and it blew out the windows in the vehicles. They received cuts and scrapes, but nothing.
Who
major.
were they?
Sergeant Mark Comer.
Comer?
Mm-hmm.
He works out at the prison.
Right.
Right.
And Specialist Ricky Newman.
Ricky Newman, I don't know, but I interviewed Comer. So is he here today?
No, he's not here today.
Oh, shoot. Anything else you want to say?
No, just that I just wish in the future that the world would think of a different way to handle things.
Yeah.
Besides that,
Yeah.
you know, putting people's lives on the line for all this. It's maybe there's got to be a different way. To do it.
Yeah. Thanks for everything you did.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
Mm.
Okay.